Why would someone call 911 over a backyard pool party? Let me tell you about the summer Lisa decided she owned my entire block. Picture this: a lazy July afternoon, kids splashing in the pool, a pink inflatable unicorn bobbing in the shallow end, and the faint hum of pop music just loud enough to keep the VYB going but not enough to wake a napping neighbor. I'm standing on my patio, barefoot, holding a glass of iced tea, when sirens cut through the air like a knife. Lisa, my tenant from across the street, is marching toward my yard, sweat beading on her forehead, her trusty clipboard clutched like a battle shield. She's screaming. She doesn't even belong here. I lock eyes with the cop stepping out of his patrol car and say, cool as can be, actually, I own this whole street, including her house. Lisa's jaw drops so fast you'd think GRAVY tie doubled. This wasn't just a pool party gone wrong. It was the climax of a year-long war with Lisa, a woman who thought she could rule my block with fake rules and a superiority complex. I'd planned the party for days, a simple get-together with friends, a few tenants, and neighbors who knew how to live and let live. Paper lanterns swayed in the breeze, folding chairs dotted the lawn, and kids ran around with dripping popsicles. It was the kind of day you dream about in winter. But Lisa? She'd been a thorn in my side since she moved into 114 Maple Lane, one of my rentals. From day one, she strutted around like she owned the place, slapping community violation notices on mailboxes and inventing bylaws that didn't exist. There was no HOA on our street, never had been, but Lisa didn't need facts. She had her clipboard and a knack for making everyone's life miserable. That afternoon, she stormed up to my gate in her usual outfit, sun VY sore, oversized shades, and a floral shirt that screamed, "I'm in charge." She stood by my rose bushes, declaring my party a disruption of community peace. I sipped my tea, offered her a glass, and said, "Lisa, we've been over this. There's no HOA." She scoffed, her eyes twitching as she watched my guests laugh without her approval. 5 minutes later, she was on her phone, voice shrill, calling 911. "Loud music! Underage drinking! Trespassing!" she shrieked, tossing in, "unlicensed gathering," for good measure. I waved to my neighbor Tom, who just shrugged. We both knew this wasn't Lisa's first rodeo. Last month, she'd called the cops over a misplaced lawn gnome. Before that, she claimed a barbecue was illegal past 8 p.m. But this time, she'd miscalculated. See, I wasn't just some homeowner. My granddad built this block in the 70s, every brick, every porch. When he passed, I inherited it all quietly, no fuss. I kept rents low, chose good families, and stayed out of the spotlight. But I wasn't about to let Lisa bully me on my own land. When the cops arrived, she rushed ahead of them, pointing at me like I was a fugitive. "That's her. She's disturbing the peace." The officer, a guy with a tired expression, asked, "Ma'am, do you live here?" I handed him my ID, smiled, and said, "I do. And I own this house, that one, and hers too." I pointed down the street like I was GIVYing a tour. Lisa froze. The younger cop stifled a laugh. The older one blinked. "You own her house?" he asked. "Yup," I said. "I'm her landlord." The silence was golden. Even the unicorn in the pool seemed to pause. The cops glanced around, saw a tame gathering, and said, "No laws broken here. Just a private party." Lisa sputtered. "But the HOA!" I cut in. "There is no HOA, but you're welcome to join us. We've got peach cobbler." She stood there, trembling with rage, as the cops drove off. My guest chuckled, and I let her stew. What she didn't know was that I'd been keeping a file, every fake notice, every doorbell cam clip, every email. Her lease was up in a month, and I had plans. Lisa didn't quit. She doubled down. The next day, I found laminated signs on telephone poles. Neighborhood enforcement zones. Listing bans on amplified music and unauthorized decorations. One even warned about fireworks with clip art of a crossed-out firecracker. I almost laughed, but it wasn't funny. She was scaring people. Tenants got notices for hammocks, mailboxes, even kids' sidewalk chalk. She taped a glossy HOA violation citation to my gate accusing me of excessive aquatic gatherings and VY soil pollution from the inflatable unicorn. I collected the notices, feeling the neighborhood tense up like a VY losh under siege. Then came her community HOA meeting, announced on neon flyers stapled to mailboxes. Mandatory attendance, it said, with snacks pro VY dead, and a respectful dress code. I decided to show up, clipboard in hand, ready to end her charade. Saturday morning, I sat in a camp chair at the cul-de-sac, sunglasses on, while Lisa stood behind a folding table, reading from a script about her fake HOA board. She rambled about noise limits 65 decibels after 4 p.m. and held up a phone app like it was law. When someone asked about legal grounds, she claimed we'd all agreed to an informal covenant by VYing here. I raised my hand. Yes? She said, voice tight. I stood. Just to clarify, there's no HOA. I own most of this street, and no one signed any covenant. I checked with the City Zero HOA filings. Her face went from pink to red. The community has rights, she snapped. No, I said. You're enforcing personal preferences, and it's harassment. I held up my folder, her notices, tenant statements, timestamps. I've sent this to the city mediator. Keep going, and it's a legal issue. The crowd murmured. Her cousin, who'd brought a coffee pot, suddenly got busy with his phone. People packed up and left. Lisa gripped her table like it was her last stronghold. She didn't stop. A week later, she built a fancy crooked, white plastic eyesore that cut across shared easements and blocked the sidewalk. I called my attorney, sent photos, and delivered a notice: remove it or face legal action. Then I spotted her new cameras, black domes tracking my yard and neighbors' driveways. The group chat blew up. She's writing down license plates, one neighbor texted. I borrowed my nephew's drone, programmed it to loop the block, and played a clip of Lisa's 911 call. Loud music. Trespassing. Neighbors laughed. Kids chased it. Lisa swung a broom at it, missed, and knocked her own fence loose. The footage went viral on a local meme page, racking up 5,000 views. She stayed inside for days. Her final stunt was a community gala in her backyard, me backyard without permission. Glittery flyers promised awards for best lawn and most compliant resident. I showed up with movers and a notice of lease violation. As she stood in a gold shawl and plastic crown, I handed her the papers. A chair tipped, her fence collapsed, and her guests scattered. The next morning, a for rent sign went up at 114 Maple Lane. I'd placed it there. Lisa's lease had 14 days left. She tried one last play: a fake MOVYing truck, friends posing as movers, and a letter accusing me of retaliatory EVY tie-in. My attorney called it a bluff. Then she listed my house online as available for rent, under a fake company. I had it pulled down with a cease and desist. Her goodbye party came next. Binkin VY Tez, a sash proclaiming her a community legend. I sent a paralegal to watch. She gave a speech, glaring at my house, but it changed nothing. On her final day, a real MOVYing truck came. She left without a word, no crown, no clipboard. The house was clean, almost too clean, like she knew she'd lost. 3 days later, a new family toured the house. Their kids ran through the yard laughing. "This place feels peaceful," the dad said. I approved their application. To celebrate, I threw another pool party. Neighbors brought a stop sign, cake, and a piñata shaped like a clipboard. I gave a short speech. Community isn't about control. It's about respect. People clapped, and the unicorn floated on. That night, alone by the pool, I thought about Lisa's reign, her flyers, her fence, her fake gala. I kept them in a box, not out of spite, but as a reminder of how one person's delusion can shake a street. The next day, I planted a sign: Private Community. Respect and peace required. Marigolds bloomed around it. Wind chimes appeared. A bench followed. The block wasn't just mine anymore. It was ours.